We are living in a computer-programmed reality, and the only clue we have to it is when some variable is changed and some alteration in our reality occurs. We would have the overwhelming impression that we were reliving the present, déjà vu, perhaps in precisely the same way, hearing the same words, saying the same words. I submit that these impressions are valid and significant, and I will even say this: such an impression is a clue that at some past time point a variable was changed, reprogrammed as it were, and that because of this an alternative world branched off.
Good morning, and welcome to the Monday Mashup. I'm your host, Robert Phoenix, and it is 11:21:11. We are one day away from 11:22:11. 11:22:11, not so much, but the same sort of numeric sequencing and numerology and symbolism and Freemasonry goodness is all wrapped up into 11:22:11. No doubt should be an interesting day on any fronts. So over the weekend, I've been thinking about the format of the show. And, I've been tossing this back and forth, like, what do I want to do with this hour? And I've got some ideas, and I haven't really completely fleshed them out, but I'm going to be launching kind of a different version of this in the next week or so. And I'm going to be going down maybe a couple of different paths. I mean, there's going to be something related to what I'm doing and have been doing, but it's going to be slightly a little more focused. And I think one of the things that I'll be spending more time on is less free associative ranting and more with coming up with some solid, tangible solutions, things that you can do to improve your life on a very pragmatic basis. I mean, this is, Mars is in Virgo now, and so it's a time where addressing practical solutions is probably a pretty good thing for us. And when I say practical solutions, I mean, everything from diets to supplements to understanding what's going on in the realm of supplements and diets to your own basic freedoms and rights with this thing called the internet, because right now, again, it's under attack. I don't know how much you know about it, but they're working on yet another layer or another iteration of the internet censorship bill. And ultimately what they want to do is they want to, they in quotes, they want to create zones pretty much for the internet. And the zones would be highly kind of regulated and monitored. And the free days of the internet theoretically would be over, and they would put people into sort of buckets in terms of what they could do, where they could do it, not really where they could do it, but what they could do, what they could say. And a lot of this will be based on copyright control. And it's been in the works for a while, but the whole issue of copyright control is going to become bigger and bigger and bigger. So let's say you've had a website up like myself for 3 years. Let's say you've used a number of images on that website, and nothing has been said about the images that you've used, some of which may have certain copyright control associated with those images, and all of a sudden you get letters saying that you can't use those images anymore. Or maybe it's not even a nice letter, maybe the site is taken down due to the proliferation of images. I mean, we've stumbled into this cross-proliferation of free content, available content. I mean, this is kind of where the internet was born out of. You know, I got on the internet in 1997, and just as it was starting to break out, and roughly from 1997 to about 2000, this whole concept that things were free on the internet was prevalent. I mean, it's part of the DNA of the internet, and as we've gone on, the internet's evolved. You know, those notions of content have pretty much gone away. I mean, you can get I mean, I used to get a piece of software hijack. It's anymore. You got to buy audio hijack. You got to get the upgraded version. So, you know, we're seeing the internet as a marketplace, and not necessarily as a omnidimensional, omnidirectional sort of autonomous zone where you can swap ideas and content and all these things freely. Now, of course, there's music. I mean, that's never really gone away. But even in the bit part, you know, one thing, you know, in the next few months, I'll be focusing on very specific pieces that we used to use out there in the world. It's Mars and Virgo. We need it. Why not? And it will give my show some focus. Maybe I'll have more guests on the Monday show as well. So that's where it's headed. And we've got a few more, not a lot though, but a few more Mondays before the end of the year. And then we're staring down 2012. I mean, we will officially be in 2012 in less than 2 months. And that's a big deal. I mean, you know, 2012 is going to be probably the year of the century. Now, there will be other years between now and startling and powerful and important in the story of the human condition. But I don't think there is going to be any other year than 2012 which will be in many ways a defining moment for where we are and where we're headed as a species. Now, let me say that for many years, I've not been, okay, so my relationship to 2012 really starts for me in the early 90s. And that's when I came across the Jose Arguelles material. That's when I came across the McKenna material. You know, that's when I came across the Galactic Center and, you know, Alcyon and, you know, the Great Central Sun and the pulsations from the Galactic Center, neutrino fields that we are immersed in. All that stuff came to my consciousness in the early 90s. And I put from about 1993 all the way through maybe about 98 or so, I put a great deal of emphasis on 2012 in the spiritual context of it, what we call the multidimensional context of it. And right around 98, 99, I began to shift my ideas around 2012 because I felt like at that time it was starting to become a meme in some ways. And it turned itself into kind of like the New Age rapture. And I was a little troubled by that on some level, just like I'm troubled by the rapture in general. But I was a little troubled by that, and I asked myself, well, if we're putting all of our eggs in this event, what does it affect our who we are right now. Let's put lots on hold, on the subtle level. So I began to back off 2012 this start date, this of liberation. And at the same time, this has filters with what we call reality. I began to see that there was an incredible amount of psychic momentum that's been generated by the whole 2012 experience, and that it could theoretically take on a life of its own apart from whatever is associated with that date. The end of the Mayan calendar, based on the Dresden Codex, all that stuff, right? 12, 12, 12, 12, 21, 12, it's all, it's all in there, right? So, people are creating mythologies, creating all kinds of stories about this, the means and how we're going to ascend, and move into the fifth dimension, or the ships are going to show up. I mean, there's really a postmodern fairy tale. It's a postmodern spectacle that is shaping and converging around our attention with it. And it's not far away. When we enter the 2012 vortex. And if we look ahead, just briefly in 2012, what do we have? We've got an election. We have the Olympic Games in London. And this is a huge, huge event, the Olympic Games. My friend Ellis Taylor has been working on the mega spell for the Olympic Games for quite a while, and sees this as the capstone in many ways of a series of events that are being used to trigger a momentum that will cast humanity forever into the dimensional grid, which will not allow us to be able to experience the collective multidimensional platform or reality as humans, and that 2012 ultimately is a trick, and it's a trick that will be used by a small group of people who are very involved in trapping the majority of us in what we call linear time. And there's been a huge amount of stuff done on the 2012 Olympics, and somewhere down the line I'll piggyback on that research and get into that. But that's part of 2012. And when is the bottom going to drop out? I don't think it drops out until 2012 Olympics, and I don't think it drops out until the election. Now that could change. It could change. It could be a wrinkle in the program, and all of a sudden, things need to get sped up. I mean, there's, nothing is completely written in stone. But if you look at how the linearity of where we are as a planet, in all the crisis that we're experiencing, the end of money, the end of order in a lot of ways, all these things they're coalescing, and they are all part of the 2012 momentum. And these events, the Olympics and the election, play a large role in that, in the creation of what we'd call a new world. But it would be a negative new world. It would be a shadow new world. So Occupy Wall Street, that's limping along. I mean, I wouldn't say limping, marching along, but also getting heavy. Over the weekend here in California, I don't know if you've seen the videos. I think it's kind of viral now. It's a group of people protesting, and they're all sitting down. It's a bizarre video. I mean, it looks like they've got their hands behind their backs, and it looks like they're getting ready to be executed. Am I right? And if you've seen the video, it looks like they're part of a firing squad. on the ground.